Hello everyone, my name is Gabriel. Animal Crossing is my favorite video game series of all time. And as I've stated before, Animal Crossing New Leaf is my favorite video game of all time. However, I think the successor to New Leaf, Animal Crossing New Horizons, was as much of a downgrade as it was an upgrade. Some of the things that were added were decent ideas, but I think were poorly executed. So I have some things I'd like revised or added in the next Animal Crossing game. I think most will agree with me when I say that the dialogue with the villagers is pretty lackluster in Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you chat with the same villager 10 times in a day, it's likely that during 5 of the 10 chats, the villager will say the exact same thing. Hi, Kitty, we meet again today. I actually just went fishing. What did you do?
Oh, I went and walked on the beach.
Way down? Or did you already do that today? We just talked like an hour ago, and you said you went on the beach.
I know, I went for a walk on the beach.
What, are you referencing the when you went on the walk on the beach the first time?
I went for a walk on the beach.
I like to see more dialogue, both nice and mean. I'm not saying I'd love for villagers to be jerks to me, it'd just be nice to see more interactivity. Villagers in Animal Crossing for the GameCube would be outright mean at times, and it made the game more diverse to me. Speaking of diversity, what about more individual, collaborative, and competitive events? In Animal Crossing for the GameCube, Tortimer would hold little events at the square, like ball games or even just exercising. I'd also like to be able to ask villagers if they have any tasks I could help them with. This was in Animal Crossing for the GameCube, but not in any of the future games. So, sometimes silly things like this happen.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me over.
Hey, how you been?
Oh, I'm alright, just been going around town helping people out. Been paying back my loan to the bank and all that jazz. What about you?
Not much, just don't want to pay you as postage. Take that to Cube.
I'm gonna take this cube.
Yep.
You realize you invited him over here with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's over there.
Okay, well, we'll take it to Cube.
Also, the new crafting mechanic? It's decent, but also kinda stupid to me. I like the idea, don't get me wrong, but if you don't like having to go hit a dozen trees to get enough wood to craft a fence, then, well, I guess you don't get any fences. I rarely crafted things in the game outside of fences and sometimes tools. Heck, I usually bought tools from the store. Having to go whack a tree and hit some rocks all the time to craft a new tool just felt repetitive, in a bad way. It especially sucks because a lot of items are locked behind the crafting mechanic. You can't get certain items any other way. In the next game, I'd like to have the crafting mechanic, but I want all the items you can craft to be obtainable through other means, like as rewards for doing tasks for villagers, or something you can obtain during an event. That way, it's not necessarily just suddenly extremely easy to obtain, you will still have to do certain tasks to get those items. While I'm on the topic of crafting stuff, I have something to say about the gold tools. So, in each game in the series, the gold tools are the best of the best, correct? So why on earth did Nintendo make them breakable? I could see the silver tools being breakable, which they are, and they also have more durability than the standard tools. Why the gold tools, though? What's the point in even obtaining them if they're going to break eventually like all the other tools? Nintendo, I don't care if you make the silver tools breakable, as long as they have more durability than the standard tools. But make the gold tools unbreakable. Moving on to something I actually liked. In Animal Crossing New Horizons, you could choose where the museum, Nook store, and Able Sisters went. And I like that. However, I'd love to be able to have an area like the city from Animal Crossing City Folk, or the main street from Animal Crossing New Leaf that I can customize to my liking. Of course, separate from the main town for other things, such as a barbershop, theater, a Gracie Grace type store, maybe even the Ruse Cafe. I'd like to see characters upgraded, as in the haircut lady coming back as the owner of her own store instead of just a minor character at Harry's Island. Maybe we'll see Dr. Shrunk back in the theater.
Oh, Dr. Shrunk is in the house, and if you're sick of that same old blabby blab, do I have the cure for you? Yeah? Yeah, you can't wait, right? Tough crowd out tonight.
Would not be a good time to ask for a refund.
Sure is a tough crowd out there tonight, huh?
Other options should include the ability to choose the color of the buildings, different layouts to choose from, and street vendors, like the balloon guy in the city from City Folk. I've always enjoyed strolling around the city in City Folk, and having recently started playing City Folk again, I thought of all these ideas. If you could have an area like this, what would you like to be able to do with it? However, what I found to be one of, if not the stupidest thing about New Horizons is the free updates. I'm not saying I don't like free updates. What bugs me is that the stuff they add to the game through the free updates were stuff that were in New Leaf at launch. You can't just add stuff to a game later on and say, "Ooh, guys, new stuff," when it was in the previous games at launch. Nintendo's done this with plenty of other games, and I don't like it. It makes the game feel more bare bones, and it's like Nintendo wants to prolong the life of the game, but they don't have much else to add. So they just refrain from adding some stuff, like the swimming mechanic, and then add it at a later date. If that's what their goal was, it's not that hard to tell. And honestly, by the time more stuff comes along, many people will have already abandoned the game because it was bare bones. I think you should have the stuff that was in the previous game in the successor at launch, and add newer, never seen before, or stuff we haven't seen in a long time later on into the game.
I really do love the Animal Crossing series, and New Horizons just didn't feel like a satisfying successor to Animal Crossing after playing it for a few months. When I stopped playing it, I found it really hard to just start playing the game again. Even worse, the stuff they added through free updates were stuff that were already in New Leaf at launch. Anyways, what do you think of my suggestions? And do you have any suggestions of your own? I'm actually going to see if Kirby has any suggestions of his own. Hey Kirby, I've been thinking about what I'd like to see in the next Animal Crossing game. Do you have any suggestions of your own?
Maybe remove Kitty and also maybe delete her.
Seems kinda harsh, don't you think?
No.
I honestly don't want to like it that much myself. Oh, someone's knocking. Give me one moment. Hey, Kitty, what are you doing here?
Kitty, what are you doing? I gifted you bees yesterday.